Hello, everybody, and today we begin another week of devotions from the Psalms of Ascent. And today we're looking at Psalm 129, which is a psalm that speaks all about perseverance and hanging in there when people are against you and when your faith is tested. I believe, and it's not a academic exercise, it's just my experience, that if you in South Africa can endure high school with a firm stand for Jesus, then that's about the toughest persecution you're going to receive as a Christian in South Africa. High school is a very difficult place to be a Christian. I can't believe the amount of bullying and mocking and hardship that is thrown at young Christian people because they believe in Jesus. I don't know why so many young teenagers in our country are so anti-Jesus, but it seems to be the case. I remember a young girl when I was a youth pastor. She was in about grade 9. Her name was Haley, and she decided that she was going to go to SEA at break time for the first time. And when she came back into her class, well, they teased her, they mocked her, they couldn't believe that she would do such a stupid thing, and she just didn't have the courage to go back afterwards. However, had she done so, and the many that do, that make that stand and stand firm, well, I kind of think they're untouchable afterwards, because university, the workplace, all the other trials that you might experience as a Christian person in South Africa, they're like nothing compared to what you went through at high school. We don't often speak about this spiritual discipline of perseverance, but I think it's important. You've got to be pretty tough to be a Christian. And if you're not, you'll have to toughen up quite quickly, because the world has always waged war against people of faith, against the faith of Jesus. And it's not likely to stop now. But just like in the past, so now as well, the world won't prevail. Because if you are a person of faith, you stand for the truth, you stand for Jesus Christ our Lord, and you will prevail if you endure to the end. I mean, we're not the only ones who struggle like this. Jesus did, didn't he? Right from the beginning of his ministry, when he was tempted in the wilderness for 40 days, right to the end, the internal anguish that he suffered in the Garden of Gethsemane, Jesus persevered. The Apostle Paul persevered too. If you read 2 Corinthians 11, you will read the most horrific list of hardships and persecutions and sufferings that Paul endured. But never for once did he consider giving up because of it. He kept going. He endured to the end. The psalmist has known hardships as well. Oppression from foreign invaders is kind of what I think he's speaking about here. Those who take your crops out, who burn your crops, who burn your barns, who endanger your family. People of Israel were often at their disposal, at their mercy. The Egyptians would come one way, the Assyrians would come another way, and the battle would take place in the promised land, and the people of Israel would suffer as a result. And so the psalmist has known these hardships, and his description of them in verses 3 and 4, you read it and try and work it out. It's pretty harsh, it's pretty difficult, it's not at all pleasant. But never once did they gain the victory over him. Never once did they stop his faith and his witness for the Lord. Yes, sometimes he was rattled. Look at verse 5, and you'll see that he displays anger and maybe a bit of petulance. He cries out to the Lord for vengeance. It kind of reminds us of Psalm 137 that we looked at on Sunday in our service. The people of Israel in Babylon crying out for vengeance against their oppressors. That's how we feel. It's often how we feel. And we know we can't act on it. We know that the Bible teaches us that we need to love our neighbor as ourselves, that we need to love our enemies and do good to those who persecute us. We know that that's what we've got to do. But sometimes we feel this anger and this great desire for justice. And that's okay. You can feel those things. In fact, Eugene Peterson says, even though you can't act on them, it's good to feel them, because far worse would be just to lie over and die, and let those oppressors walk all over you as if they weren't doing anything wrong. We do stand for that which is good. We do stand in a world that is evil, and we feel, and we are right to feel passionate about that. But let's give our feelings and our emotions and our desire for retribution, let's give them to our God, who is the righteous God. Did you see that in verse 4? God is righteous. And that means he always has a right relationship with his people. He has a right relationship with us. He is our Father through our Lord Jesus Christ. And he has a right relationship with our oppressors. He will judge them on the final day. And so let's give ourselves and the people that persecute us and make our lives difficult, let's give them to God and let God do what is right in his sight. And let's remain faithful to him and not give up, because perseverance is what is required of the saints. God bless you.